Hello, lovelies. That was just me being bored because I'm extremely tired. I woke up this morning at 5 and proceeded to get a knock on my door approximately 4 hours later, right when I was deciding that I was going to go back to sleep, and rest my sick head off because I'm still sick. But the world had other plans for me because you see, recently I had signed up for this extra thing. I'm not really even sure what it was. I didn't know what it was when I signed up for it. All I knew is that it had to do with small children, which obviously when I'm sick is exactly what I want to be messing with. But I committed to it, and when Mariko-san showed up at my door, I didn't really want to say no. Should I have? I don't know. I'll leave that to future pondering when I can communicate with someone who actually does know the outcome of the other side. Anyway, so I'm given 10 minutes to get myself from my bed-draggled state. I've been living in my bed for the past 48 hours, probably. Reason should be obvious. After those 10 minutes, I was shuffled out to a shuttle bus, and we drove off to the Shogako, the elementary school, which was a good 10 or 15 minutes away by car, which is saying something in Japan. It was really far away. So we get there, and we're taking off our shoes at the entryway, which is really something I haven't ever got to do in Japan yet. I mean, I kind of do it when I go to the kyokai, but the kyokai is just so small, you don't really feel like you're wearing your slippers around. It's just like you're kind of wearing them when you enter the room. But this place was like big, and like you left your shoes at the door, and it's like, bye shoes, and you walk away, you walk through the halls, and it's like, oh, look at all the little cute elementary school stuff. Then we go into the library, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like an elementary school library. I haven't seen this in so long. I remember mine being bigger. Anyway, so in the library, we're getting debriefed, or I guess briefed, on what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And I'm sitting there going, oh crap, I don't know a word of what you're saying. After they stopped talking, I turned to my fellow students who are also doing the program with me, and I say, what are we supposed to be doing? And they just said, oh, talk about your country. I was like, okay. Originally, I was supposed to be doing this with another American so that, we weren't alone. But unfortunately, he ended up not being able to make it for whatever reason. So it was just me. And lucky me, I got assigned the second graders. Oh boy. I learned today that I probably, unless by the grace of God, I will not have the ability to be a second grade teacher just simply because I don't have the energy. I don't know how I'm gonna keep up with kids of my own at that age, let alone 28 other kids. But it was fun. We sat there. It was a really awkward initial thing. I introduced myself, said I'm from America, talked about how like Colorado's kind of like Yamagata, and then the kids asked me questions, and this is where I felt stupid. These kids are approximately 7 or 8 years old, and they're asking questions that I don't understand. I mean, talk about a blow to your language capability. And when I say that they were asking questions, I mean they were asking questions in Japanese that I couldn't understand. It made me feel kind of small, especially because the questions were so simple. It's like, when you got to Japan, what was something that surprised you? It's like, I can answer that. And then they started asking questions that were somewhere along the line of what's your favorite animal, and I'm sitting here going, what are you saying? And I felt bad because like a couple of the kids just had to sit down because I couldn't answer their questions, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be that foreigner. But I was that foreigner, so that was okay. So after all the awkwardness and questions, we went outside because it was like break or recess or something, and oh my gosh, just oh, it was awesome, but it was oh, I'm sitting. I wasn't even sitting. It's like, hey, let's go outside. I'm like, oh, is it? I'm like looking back to the senseis to say, hey, is it okay if I go? And before I know it, I'm literally being dragged out of the room by these second graders. It was amazing. They were just like flocking around me, and I was just like overwhelmed. It's like introvert is what I is. And all of a sudden, there's like 15 kids just like pulling on me, shaking my hand, going, "Ah, come on, let's go play, let's go play, let's go play." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go play. Just get off of me." I'm not saying any of this at all, of course. And so it's like I'm being dragged outside, and it's like, "Oh, but it's cold outside. I need my jacket." And someone shoves my jacket in my face. Well, not my face, more towards my fiddle, because none of them can reach above my chest. We end up going like, I get my shoes, and not wearing them, of course, because you can't wear them inside the building, but like the door where I came in and the door where we went out were two different doors, so I had to carry my shoes to the door where we went out so that I could put my shoes on and go outside. Because you can't walk outside in the slippers. That's the whole point of the changing of the things. So we end up trying to play outside. It didn't from my perspective, it didn't go very well because like there were a bunch of kids at first, and then they all just kind of scattered. They were like, "Oh, we'll just leave the Gaijin to do whatever he does." And so I ended up like throwing some kids around the park. One of them ended up on the fence and the spikes and the things. It was a good show. No, not really. Gosh, come on now. We went and like climbed a hill, and they played on some slides, and we did a seesaw. That was probably the most interactive thing I did with them. The whole time it was really weird. There were kids like climbing up my coat. I almost always had at least two kids clinging to me, one on my back or like on each arm, something just everywhere.
Oh, hey, kids are gone. Like, should we go back? And they were like, yeah, we're going back. I'm like, oh, we can go back. We can go back. And so we went inside. I changed back into my slippers, dropped my shoes off at the cubby, and again, all of this going on while I've got at least 3 kids lashed onto me the entire process, sometimes more. And we finally get back to the room, and it's like, okay, go sit down, and are we done, senseis? No, we're not? Okay. And so we started, like, singing songs, and they were like, you sing American songs? And I'm like, sure I can. Like, we can't sing that. Oh, what can I sing? There was a boy, a very strange, enchanting boy. But you can't really sing that with 2-year-olds, so it was cool to hear. Weren't really being interacted with, so they were like, oh, well, what about like Jingle Bells? And I was like, yes, we can do Jingle Bells. Which that was interesting because I start singing Jingle Bells and everyone's like, yeah, Jingle Bells! So we Jingle Bells together right after the jingle ends. Like, they start going Japanese, I start going American, and it's a shoot of a good time. So then what do we do? Well, I can't really teach you guys. Merry Christmas. Let's sing that together. And so I teach the 4 lines, so we wish that we sing you a Merry Christmas together. It's amazing time. Everyone was super ecstatic. And then we sang Silent Night, which was a bit harder to sing. The first little bits was easy. Not right now, but I will talk to you in a second. I'll explain why. The first little bits was easy until we got to Round version, and then everybody loved it. Okay. It was amazing and a good time. So after we did the whole Jolly Lolly sing-along, we were like, oh, hey, so let's learn some games. Like, you guys did John Kenpo, right? And John Kenpo, for those of you who don't know, in Japanese. So it's like, okay, well, let's rock, paper, scissors in English. This is really simple. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. The shoot confused the crap out of everybody. Even the teachers were like, wait, what? And I'm sitting here going, I don't want to say that it's shoot like shoot a gun. There has to be something else that you shoot. And thankfully, one of the teachers was like, the ball, that's what we're doing. We're shooting it out. It was the most complicated thing. I probably could have made it tons easier by just saying, oh, like, on the 3rd one you do it, whatever. But no, I was determined, and so we got it so it was rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and you threw it out, whatever it was. Yeah. And so we did that for a little while. We kind of got everybody used to it, and then after that, oh my gosh, 8 lines of students. And I split them up into 4 groups, right? So the first 2 lines were one group, the second 2 lines were another group, the third 2 lines were another group, and the fourth 2 lines were another group. So I had 4 groups, and I said, okay, group 1, you're going to make a circle here. Group 2, you're going to make a circle there. Group 3, you're going to make a circle there. And group 4, you're going to make a circle here. Go! And so we did all that, which involved like getting chairs out of the way. It was just mess. But it was fun. And so finally the students like got in their little respective circles. And I was like, okay, how on earth do I explain this? And so I had, luckily, thank goodness, there was another student who had to be around my age or like high school something, who was sitting in helping. I don't know, but he so my saving grace right there. So I had him, kind of help me demonstrate, and I was like, okay, so we're gonna go duck, goose, and like trying to explain the rules of duck, goose in Japanese. Oh my gosh, like final exam worthy. I probably failed that exam, but still, it was that hard. And so I'm trying to explain, like, when you say goose, okay, you gotta like walk the circle, because I don't promote running indoors, despite that. That's not what I promote. And so it's like, you gotta walk around the circle and sit back, but if they catch you, then this happens. If you make it, then you switch, and the blah blah blah, and the who's the what's it, and the okay. So yeah, that was the thing that I did, and oh my gosh. Once people got it, like once the kids got it, like the first person that I picked, because I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna like make someone become it, and I don't really want to pick one of the people who wants to do it. I want to pick one who's not quite as engaged to get them engaged. Um, so I picked those students, and I kind of had to show I had to show a couple of them like how to do it, and like the senseis and my I called them a sensei because essentially like even the second graders were sensei to me because they all knew Japanese better than I knew it. So they were able to help like two groups, and I helped two groups, and we kind of got them started. And once we got them started, the kids were like, click, oh, we know how to play this. Gosh, it was
Kids will run, but I wasn't promoting it. The important part there. Do as I say, right, Mom? Ha ha ha.
And once the kids got into it, they were just running and laughing, and oh my gosh, it's how I imagine just like small children being, just like laughing and having fun, and it was great. It was great, and they did that for a little while, and then after that, we split the groups back up into smaller groups. Well, actually, that's not true at all. We did the opposite of that. We took all the groups, combined them into one massive group, and then had everybody split off into pairs, playing rock paper scissors in English. But with a few added things, you had to say hello, nice to meet you, and then start your vicious game of rock paper scissors. After which, you know, if you won, you'd be like, yes, I'm a winner, and if you lost, like, oh, good job, and then you say thanks. Oh my gosh,
My voice got source from all of that because all the time I'd be like, oh, and makemashita,
and oh my gosh, so much stuff just going like all over the place. And then towards the end, we kind of rounded everybody back up, and we kind of said, you know, this is how you say goodbye and thank you very much. And finally it was over, and I got to go back. I got to, oh, it was amazing. I was so happy. But it was great fun, like dealing with everything. Great fun. But at the same time, it was extremely exhausting. And again, waking up at 5, staying up for 4 hours, totally my fault. Although kind of blamed on the sickness too. Whatever. Shush, shush, shush. Bye. Tired.
but it was fun, and although I was horrible at it, I hope that doesn't taint their perception of something or other, and I hope that they enjoyed themselves.
Anyway, I'm gonna go call Andrew back, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.